Hi, Southgate Gators and second graders. It's Mr. Kroc here, and we're going to be doing something a little different this year. Usually, I see all of you in the IMC, and we usually have all the second graders in, just like we did in first grade. This year, we can't do that, and it's going to be tough for me to get into every classroom. So I thought I can come into your classroom in just a little different way. And what we're going to do is we're going to learn about bullying today. We talked a little bit about this last year as well. So I thought we would just talk briefly about what bullying is and what bullying isn't today. Um, so the first thing that we're going to talk, when someone isn't being safe and respectful, it can sometimes be called bullying. Bullying is when someone keeps being mean to someone else on purpose. And notice that I said keeps being mean. It's when someone is picking on someone else over and over, and the person it's happening to hasn't been able to make it stop. It's unfair and one sided, and no one wants or deserves to be bullied. I mentioned unfair and one sided, and when bullying happens, to recognize bullying, we need to ask, is it unfair? Is it one sided? And is someone using power in a negative or hurtful way? So I'm going to show you this poster here. And you see it says recognizing bullying. So to recognize bullying, we need to ask, is it unfair? Is it one-sided? And it happens when someone keeps hurting, frightening, threatening, or leaving someone else on purpose. So is it fair? Is it one-sided? Is someone using power in a hurtful way? So we're going to go through that a little bit about what is unfair, what is one-sided, and what is power. And how do we use that? How do some people use that power positively? And how do some people use that power in a negative way? So, unfair. Unfair means that it's not equal. It means that I'm getting treated differently than someone else. Okay? Um, when we talk about one-sided means that if I were, let's see here, I'll give an example. If I were calling Mrs. Baskin a name, um, and Mrs. Baskin was feeling sad and scared and didn't like what I was doing, that would be one-sided. If I was calling Mrs. Baskin a name and Mrs. Baskin called me a name back, now that is two-sided, and that is an argument or a disagreement. So bullying is unfair and it is one-sided. Lastly, using power. So power is, all of us have different power over each other and one another. Power can be age. So second graders, you all have a certain power over first graders. However, fourth and third graders have a power over you. Our size can mean that we have power. So if someone is really tall and someone is short, that tall person may have a little bit of physical power over that shorter person. A number of students. So if I'm playing with 5 other friends and someone's by themselves playing, we have a certain power because we are in that group over someone else. Some people use bullying as a way to gain negative power. And negative power is when someone uses, shows, or gains power by hurting other people. Positive power is when someone uses, shows, or gains power by helping other people. And in the situation where I said, if I'm playing with a group of 5 people and someone else is not in our group, we have power over that person. We can use that power in a positive way by inviting that person to play with us, or we can use that power in a negative way by telling them they can't play with us or calling the person names. There are all kinds of people. Teachers have power, police have power, presidents have power, firefighters have power, your parents have power, and hopefully all those people are using their power in a positive way. I will say, however, we all make mistakes. Sometimes teachers make mistakes and use their power in a negative way. Sometimes police make mistakes and use their power in a negative way. So all of us, we are trying to use our power in a positive way by helping each other and helping friends. But if you just go back to that slide, we have to ask, for bullying, is it fair? Is it one-sided? And is someone using their power in a negative or hurtful way? Okay, so um, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about bullying. And I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that bullying is not allowed in our class or in our school. All of us can help stop bullying together. So today you're going to learn how to do some of these things that help make it stop. First, you will learn how to recognize bullying when it happens to you or to someone else. Recognize means that you know what something is when you see it, and you know what something is not when you see it. So today we're going to hear a story about Adana, Claire, and their classmates. As you listen to the story, think about what Claire is doing. Do you recognize that Claire is bullying? Remember, bullying hurts bodies or feelings. It usually happens over and over, and it is unfair and one-sided, and power is being used in a negative way. Okay, raise your hand if you think that if you think what Claire is doing is bullying Adana. Yeah. So Claire is being mean on purpose, so it's unfair. She's making fun of Adana's coat every day, so it's happening over and over. And she gets other kids to make fun of Adana. So when we think about power that Claire has over Adana, is she has the power of more students, and she's using those words to hurt Adana's feelings. Adana's feeling embarrassed and hurt, and Adana hasn't been able to make it stop. Okay, so it is unfair. It is one-sided. Claire is doing things to Adana, and Adana is not doing anything back to Claire. And Claire is using her power over Adana in a negative way. Okay, so think of how Adana might feel. She probably feels sad, hurt, mad, embarrassed, and uncomfortable. I want you to think about a time that you have had those different feelings, what your body felt, how your body felt on the inside, and if you liked that. Being teased or called names can hurt, and the hurt is on the inside, but it can hurt as much as being hit or pushed. And it can change the way you feel about yourself or keep you from doing things you need or want to do. Okay? So Adana has sort of changed since Claire's been doing these things. She doesn't want to go to recess. She doesn't want to walk by Claire. She's embarrassed about her coat. This would not be allowed in your classroom, and it's against our rules at Southgate. Okay? So we're going to keep watching and let's see what Adana does. Okay, so Adana went and got help from Miss King, and she moved Claire's locker away from Adana's. And did that help? Did it make it stop? We're going to find out. Okay? But I want you to think about that. Sometimes the things that we try to do don't help, and it doesn't make it stop. And we're going to find out what Adana does. Okay, so Claire right here looks surprised. I think she realizes that she probably made a bad choice. And I want you to think about a time that you made a bad choice, just like I have probably made a lot of bad choices. And sometimes we have to think about what we should do if we make a bad choice. So I want you to turn to a partner and talk about what you could do if you were like Claire and made a bad choice to a classmate. What should Claire do? All right, coming back together now. Um, Claire should apologize and tell Adana that she won't make fun of her anymore and to stop bullying and leave Adana alone. Okay, so when we make mistakes, we need to take responsibility for our mistakes and apologize. All right, let's figure out what happens here. Okay, so um, Adana tried talking to her teacher, Miss King, and did that help? Not really. Okay, sometimes that will help. But then Claire said I'm sorry, uh, Adana said to Claire, please stop, it's hurting my feelings. And later, Claire apologized. And now they are friends. Um, so a lot of the things that Claire did to Adana were unfair, one sided, and she definitely used her power in a negative way over Adana. So that was bullying. However, Claire did the right thing to apologize, and they ended up having a conversation and probably being friends. Um,